Sister John Norton.
Good morning, Jody.
And the last name is Barrett. That has to be Irish, and you must be from the south side of Chicago.
I'm from the east side of Detroit.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
But I am Irish.
Yes.
Very proud of my heritage.
And the east side of Detroit, where did you go to school there?
I went to St. Catherine's Elementary and High School, which school that was run by the IHM Sisters from Monroe. So I had them for 12 years.
Did your siblings, and first of all, the number of siblings you had?
I had 6 brothers.
6 brothers. Oh, and you survived.
Yes.
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 Did they go to St. Catherine's also?
We all went to St. Catherine's except my oldest brother, Norton, who, when he was in 9th grade, went to University of Dayton to the Marinus brothers to become a Marinist.
So that's where your name came from,
Yes.
Norton.
Yes.
And how did he happen to be named Norton?
Well, his first name is John, but we knew him as Norton. That's my mother's maiden name. We always call him Norton. But he left when he was 14, so we really didn't know him that well. He was gone for about 9 years, developed in a large heart, so he never made final vows. Came home when he was 23 and died when he was 25 of pneumonia.
Oh, my.
He was always a very special person to all of us.
Had you entered at this
No,
time?
no.
No.
I was only in 10th grade.
Oh, my. Oh, my. May I ask what's your baptismal name?
Catherine.
Catherine.
Catherine Elizabeth.
Catherine. And
Catherine Elizabeth Barrett.
Yes, that sounds like a poet I know.
Yes.
The IHMs didn't snatch you?
Oh, I had one dear friend, Sister Ann Francis. I loved her dearly, but when I was finally decided to go to join the Adrian Dominicans, she was at Marygrove, it was summertime, and I went to see her, and she was just happy I was going someplace.
Well, how did you hear about the Adrian?
Through Father Tom Villaro, who was a young parish priest at St. Catherine's, and I think the Adrian Dominicans were favorites of his, and Sister Frances Rages, who was with us at that time, was a dear friend of his, and he sent me to St. Paul's in Grosse Pointe to meet her, and that's how it all started.
The rest is history. And she ushered you here?
She came up with me on Pentecost Sunday.
Your family also, I
My
presume.
mother and my brother. My brother drove, my brother Eddie. And came up on Pentecost and met Mother Gerald, and I entered the next month.
Oh, my heavens. What a lovely story. And what, were your parents surprised?
I think they were shocked. My father said they wouldn't keep me for 2 weeks, and my mother said I wouldn't be able to take it for 2 weeks. So here I am, 68 years later.
Oh, my.
No regrets.
Well, I think of your life in Florida, but you must have had life here before, once you received your name, John Norton. Tell me where your first mission was.
My first mission was downtown Adrian, St. Mary's. Went down with Sister Edmund, took me down.
She was your novice
Novice mistress, and she took me down in a taxi cab, and I taught 3rd and 4th grade for 2.5 years. Then I was missioned to Mount Carmel Elementary School in Chicago.
Wow.
Loved, and still do Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah.
Greatest city.
Gets in your blood,
Yes.
doesn't it? Yes.
But I was only 1 year there, and then I went to St. Killian's.
The Irish parish.
The Irish
I
parish.
understand.
My father loved it.
And there are quite a group of women there. Were our sisters? They were all Irish.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're all Irish.
I would think the pastor.
But I think a lot of them were. Yeah.
The pastor would have asked Mother Gerald for the Irish sisters like yourself.
And the young men that I had in 8th grade there in 1956, 57, I have kept in contact with them. I've had breakfast with them for the last maybe 8 years. whenever I went to Chicago.
Oh,
So it was
my.
wonderful.
Oh, my. And they must be, what, in their 60s?
73 and 4, I think.
Because you're of what age now?
I'm 91.
Oh, my. You defy all the rules of aging.
I don't know about that,
Oh,
Julie.
I'm sure of that. Part of your heart is in Florida, though, isn't it?
I had a wonderful,
three-fourths of it.
beautiful journey in Florida. It really was. Met a lot of great people, beautiful students, a wonderful working environment. Loved St. Thomas Aquinas High School. So it was very good.
Well, you spent many years at St. Thomas.
I was 50 years at St.
50
Thomas.
years. Do they have a street named after you?
No.
Do they have a
If
bus?
if they had alleys, they might have named an alley after me, but they don't have alleys.
Not a building? No.
I'm a woman.
Oh. All
Okay.
right. Enough
Enough said.
said. Before you went to St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale, were you at any other parts in Florida?
I was 3 years at St. Patrick's in Miami Beach. I was there when the Cuban crisis. I was there 63 to 66, so had a lot of young Cuban children who were beautiful, beautiful people, and enjoyed them immensely. Really loved being with them. So I was there 3 years. Prior to that, I was in Jacksonville.
You were superior there, weren't you?
In Jacksonville, yes. We had an elementary school with 900 students
Oh, my.
because we had 2 naval bases, and we were there during the Cuban crisis.
Well,
So.
Was that your first experience as being a superior?
Oh, yes. I was only 33,
Oh, my.
so.
Did you feel prepared for that because of all your teaching experience?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
No. But lived with wonderful sisters.
That were a big, huge
Yes.
help. Yes.
Lovely, mostly young.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then you went to
then I went to St. Pat's and then St. Thomas.
Thomas, yes. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get together with the Barrett sisters while you were at St. Pat's?
When Sister Jean O'Loughlin was the president of Barrett University, she was so welcoming all the time to the sisters, always inviting us down. She had many, many parties at her home. And I did sit on the board, the undergraduate board there at Barrett for maybe 12 years or more. And that was a wonderful experience. I admired Sister Jean tremendously. She did wonderful things for Barrett University and the community.
And I might add, you've done wonderful things for St. Thomas Aquinas in Fort Lauderdale.
I do take a little credit,
Yes,
Jody.
yes.
Because I worked very hard and I extended myself to the families, took care of the children, was very interested in young people, went to all the athletic events. So, still interested.
You're the chief fan, I'm sure.
I would hope so.
Yes.
I would
yes.
hope so.
But you were on the faculty first, correct?
I went as a math teacher, so I actually taught math for 14 years before being principal for 16. And as a math teacher, when the prior principal, as Sister Anthony Morelli, I really didn't want to be principal. And Father Kelly had asked me to be, and I said, well, Father, I like teaching math. I really did. So for a few years, I taught 3 classes of math and then assisted as assistant principal. Father Kelly took the title principal, and I took the title assistant principal.
For 3 years.
I don't know how many years it
Yes,
was.
yes.
Well, it was many years,
Yes.
for a long time, because it was actually, I would say 10 years. I was either assistant, or vice principal.
That's wonderful. The thing that has impressed, one of the things that have impressed me is the routine that you started for Christian service among, I don't know if you called it Christian service, among the students, giving back to the city and the county.
They just referred to it as service hours.
Service hours.
Yes, it was very hard to communicate what we really wanted because it was it should have been helping people, but sometimes people thought it was like free and volunteer employment, you know. They thought they could call the students up and get them to come in and do things for them, which, even though they're a nonprofit, it really wasn't helping individuals that much. And we needed to have the young people learn how to help and to serve those who really were in need.
And didn't that get caught? Other schools catch on to that?
It eventually became a national program.
Oh my!
Because it's true, I think in all the high schools, including the public high schools, most of your colleges require some type of community service as a requisite. So,
I'm wondering if you've ever been nominated to the United States Office of Education Hall of Fame.
no, I have not, Julie, no.
You've had so many other honors for the school and for
I was
yourself.
recognized by a lot of organizations
Yes.
within Broward County, and including the
National Conference
of Christians and Jews, the Red Mass Society,
the lawyers,
the lawyers.
Thomas More.
Have a beautiful, beautiful bust of St. Thomas More. Many wonderful friends who are lawyers in Broward County. The local Notre Dame club recognized me as an exemplary.
Was that because of your last name?
I don't think so. I hope not. I hope not.
Oh my!
But
But nationally, your school was recognized as an exemplary school.
it was a Blue Ribbon School 2 different times.
My.
And I think that was quite an achievement for all of our faculty, our parents, our students. And we were the first one in the Archdiocese to receive that award. And I think it motivated other schools too.
Did your enrollment increase as a result? I mean, I would think that would be a drawing card for.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
I'm sure it did. Monsignor Vincent T. Kelly, who was the supervising principal, came to St. Thomas in 1970, and our enrollment was under 700. Today it's over 2,000.
Wow.
So it's an outstanding school, academically and athletically, spiritually. Hopefully we are doing a wonderful job teaching moral values to our young people.
Well, wasn't one of the awards, national awards, in recognition of your advancement in technology and parent cooperation, parent involvement? I think
We have a very large volunteer program at St. Thomas. Many, many. We had a volunteer luncheon every year, and we would probably send out invitations to at least 250 people. Maybe about 100 and some would attend.
Did you ever go to Washington, D.C. to receive any of those awards?
I went twice.
Did you?
Yes. Went twice. It was a wonderful experience.
Did you get to the White House?
Got to the White House. We had a special tour of the White House because the gentleman who was in charge of security at that time happened to be one of the fathers, one of our students. So he took us on to the second floor of the White House, and we had a special tour. I think it was both during President Clinton time in office, and we met him and shook hands with him and that type of thing.
Was that at the award time you met him?
Yes.
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 Were you in the habit?
I don't think so. No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably
no,
not.
I don't think so.
Was Vatican II a challenge for you? Or were you ready for the changes in the congregation?
I think living in Florida, we were a little bit removed from everything up here. I'm probably a little bit more conservative than I am liberal, so it took me a little while to remove the habit. I wore, a short white habit for quite a while.
And veil, I presume.
And veil. But eventually.
Yes. And have you had any remarkable opportunities for traveling?
I've had many opportunities for traveling.
What one stands out in your mind?
I had a friend who gave me a trip every year, you know, flew me over to Europe. We always flew standby. Sometimes it was a very chaotic adventure. I was always afraid I was never going to get to where I was supposed to be going. But we had wonderful opportunities. I also traveled to Europe with students about 6 different times. And you get to see a lot of Europe that way. I remember one time traveling to Rome, standing in the piazza, saying goodbye to St. Peter's, crying, I'll never see it again. I must have gone back 10 more times. But I went to Lourdes one year, and we volunteered to work there.
Oh, tell me about that. How did that happen?
That was kind of, I was with another sister, and we happened to be traveling to Rome, and I found out that the plane stopped at Lourdes. So we applied to work in Lourdes as volunteers. And it was a beautiful, beautiful
Did they accept
experience.
you?
Not the first time round, because we applied as religious. But the second time we applied as lay people, and we were accepted. And we didn't do very much, but we served food to the nurses, and we did the dishes, and lived right there, just right behind the hospital.
When you said you served food to the nurses, then the nurses would feed the patients, is that correct?
Yes. Every patient had their own nurse. And it was a very, very special, very spiritual, very rewarding but sad experience.
The number of people that go there with their deep faith and the courage it takes to even get there. Sometimes, you know, if people are very deformed or sick and in wheelchairs, it could be depressing, but isn't it an inspiration also?
Especially the candlelight procession in the evening. It's so moving. People from every nation in the world are there, singing in their language the songs that are being sung, praying the rosary in their own language. It's like, I guess, in the time of Jesus when they spoke in tongues. Yes. Pentecost Sunday, all over again.
Yes, yes. Did you bring a lot of Lourdes water back with you?
I don't remember doing
that. It's not...
I'm sure I brought a few bottles. But...
Yes, yes. Well, that certainly rounded your life and your experience as a woman in this world with all that travel. You probably experienced what a small world we have.
Yes, because it's interesting. Almost every place I went, I would run into somebody I knew. Whether it was in Rome, Madrid, ran into a former student of mine, former student in Rome, I mean, many places. In this country, I would be disappointed if I went someplace and didn't run into someone I knew.
Yeah. Well, even probably in Fort Lauderdale,
yes.
People who weren't even associated with the church or school would know who
yes.
you were because your reputation as an educator. That's what I meant. You should be in the Hall of Fame at the Department of Education in Washington. Your life here at Regina, how long have you been here now?
I came here, Jody, June the 9th of this year. So what is that, 3 or 4 months?
That must have been a very difficult move, having been in Florida with the palm trees, with the weather, with the water.
Well, the weather hasn't come yet, so. But it was probably a big decision to make, but I was able to make it quite easily, I think, because after 50 years at St. Thomas, I finally decided that is sufficient.
Yes.
So then the next part of the decision was whether to stay there, which I could have done, or to come up here. But physically, my legs are not good, so it's always afraid of falling, afraid that somebody would have to come in and take care of me or clean out my apartment, and I prefer to do that on my own. So I spoke with Sister Marianne Caulfield and said, Marianne, we need to talk, and made the decision to come up here.
Oh, God bless you.
I've not regretted it. So.
Oh, yes. Well, you are very friendly. I hadn't known you before you came to Regina, and it was like an instant connection. So you have that gift of hospitality, obviously, but friendliness and interest.
I think I learned that at school, you know, welcoming the different families, welcoming the children, letting everybody know that they were a part of the school. I always believe that the school builds on the home, so you need to have the home involved. And I worked very hard at that, I think.
The life here now, do you take your meals in Regina Cafe?
I do, I do.
Do you do any cooking at all?
I do not. I am not a cook, Jody.
Yes,
No.
yes.
I do some,
Yes.
you know, and once in a while I'll...
Some heating.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Well, I know Lorraine Zinn has been very kind to you as
She has,
she
and
was
I
a
appreciate
Floridian.
everything that she has done. Very grateful.
Because it's a whole new world for you.
It takes, you know, it takes a while to get to know, and I think also coming up here, remember I hadn't been up here for a long time, although I visited, you know, a few days last summer and the summer before, but I really wasn't really close to anybody up here. So it takes a while to fit into
I
the group.
remember when Sister Joanne O'Connor came to campus, I asked her if she'd like to have a tour of, you know, all the way over to Siena. And I said, you have to see our real estate.
Yeah.
So you've seen all of our real estate, as small as it might be. Have you been over to Siena since you've been here?
I went to a play. I went to the musical The Addams Family, which was excellent. So I sent an email to Sister Peg Albert telling her how wonderful it was. And Peg is a former student of mine from St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
Oh, you must
Taught her geometry. And yesterday I went to see Sister Peg O'Flynn, who is I was her superior in Jacksonville.
Yes, she's leaving Weber.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful, very capable individual.
Are there any women here who were in your crowd?
Yes, there's well, not quite a few, but a few of us. Sister Nora Brady is my crowd. Sister Margie Urban. I hate to name people because I might forget somebody. Sister Mary Schmagner.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Helen Mack, who just died.
Yeah.
Joan Sofa. Barbara Brownell.
Is Celestine Dunn in?
Sally Dunn.
Sally Dunn.
Last but not least. Beautiful, beautiful person.
Yes, yes. Thank you for your kindness to Marge Urban. You've been shadowing her, as they say.
Yes.
Correct. And
I can't believe how wonderful she gets around. She's looking around and she doesn't see very much, but she certainly can get around.
Do you have a message before we come to a close here? A message for your families and former students at St. Thomas Aquinas?
You might make me cry, Jody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going back within a month. I'm going back December 13th for a few weeks. Looking forward to seeing everybody. I just want to thank them for their support of Catholic education, support of St. Thomas Aquinas High School, for believing in, I think, what the school, what the church is trying to do for young people in Broward County. I think we have a great influence on the youth, and I would hope that, you know, they continue to
foster that.
It's hard today because it's so hard. So many people do not attend church, but they're wonderfully good, generous, kind, faith-filled people. I love them dearly.
And you'll have the opportunity to see them
Yes,
and
yes.
hug them once again.
Yes.
Yes. Well, God bless you. Now, is there anything we haven't said that you would like to?
Well, I'd like to recognize my nieces and nephews that live in St. Clair Shores, Grosse Pointe, and Livonia. Oh, and Dearborn.
And what's nice is you are so much closer to them now.
Yes,
But they probably loved coming down to visit you in
I
Florida.
never had anybody come to Florida to visit.
They don't know what they missed.
Maybe they regret it now. I don't know.
So you're the only living survivor of your family,
Yes,
is that correct?
Yes.
Wow.
My siblings, my brothers are all deceased.
And the gift you have is telling stories and relating the history of your family to your nieces and nephews. It's wonderful that they're close.
Well, I did see them every summer, and we got together every summer. We really had wonderful times together. I do follow them on Facebook. I see my grandnieces and grandnephews, and that part is exciting.
I think the world should know that you carry an iPad.
I love my iPad. I like my computer. I really
Yes.
do. I think working in a high school and having all those wonderful young people there I say, hey, Joe, come here, show me how to do this.
Oh.
So and the men in technology were just superb.
Well, you must have been an early innovator of bringing that technology into the school.
Father Kelly is a visionary person, very. And I think we were one of the first, yes, to bring in computers one at a time until we got ourselves going. And we have a beautiful innovation center today.
Well, Sister John Norton, you are in my Hall of Fame of education. Extraordinary. And
Thank you.
The gift you have given the families, the church, and the students is most remarkable. And may your time back there be filled with joy and peace and glory in the time that you have spent and given so generously to those people.
Thank you, Jody.
Yes, God bless you.
Jody, thank you for everything.